Okay, so I'm Jonathan Millian, owner and founder of Blue Yonder, a technical research agency offering insights to global brands. So this presentation is about the risks of decision making based on automated findings, the line between automation and human assisted research, and the reasoning behind buyers choosing to rely on an automated pre-programmed system over humans monitoring behavior to pull out insights. Brands are under a lot of pressure to deliver more for less, so more impact using fewer resource and in less time. I'm sure everyone's heard it, or similar requests that need to squeeze as much value out of a piece of research as possible. And this isn't always a request, it's often a demand from key stakeholders at the top of the business who need what they want. Ultimately, without a doubt, the quicker and sometimes more efficient route is digital, which can often incorporate some form of automated system. In the technical arena, based on the projects I have worked on, I believe that in most cases, automation this far can only deliver two of those needs. At the same time, I feel that currently human researchers can only deliver on two as well. So automation is a numbers game, which relies on big claims spread loud and wide to a large audience of research buyers. The same research buyers who are under a lot of pressure to deliver more for less. So let's take a look at some of the claims that are out there right now. So we have, gives deeper insights while delivering efficiencies in time and money. Agency quality insight at machine speed. Gain deeper insights by using video. And video insights made easy. So these are fronting up the websites where research buyers are looking for new ideas. And social media, research events and direct marketing are very effective distribution channels in which these claims can get through to the research managers, the brand managers and the marketing and technical teams to offer potential cost-effective solutions to their stakeholder needs in a very slick and confident manner. Now, insight is key to the success of brands, and robots don't know what an insight is. They have to be told, which is very difficult because insights are often undiscovered nuggets of information, which rely on prediction models and programming, where there's very little to do with feelings or intuition. And when we talk to our clients about insights and what they need, it is ultimately new information that can help them improve their end user experience and improve consumer connection to their brand to hopefully expand the relationship they have with their consumers. One of our clients said, of course, it's always great to see videos of consumers. What we really need is actionable insight, understanding how consumers connect with our brands and the language that they use, and observing the unarticulated needs of consumers. And this is where the results of automation can become questionable. The brands we work with measure the scale of insight based on what they can do with the new information and the impact it may have on key stakeholders. The fact is, a robot doesn't know what an insight is, so anything a robot doesn't recognize becomes undiscovered, ultimately losing valuable insight. Robots cannot feel something happening or relate to a situation the same way that a human can. So we wanted to go through some of the risks involved where automation hasn't quite lived up to the claims made. So let's look at working with video first. So interestingly, YouTube have recently removed their automated transcribing service and replaced it with a manual system as they just couldn't make it work. There were too many variables, too many different accents, too many different speeds, etc. And this is possibly one of the largest AI companies with a vast budget available to them. So this has to tell us that we are missing information when the automated platforms in our industry are using the exact same technology. So we then looked at emotional data and facial coding, and the findings were very clear. Unless the consumer is very close to the camera, consistently face on, the findings can be very dubious. If the face moves too far away from the camera, the data becomes not only less accurate, it can actually be misleading. So similar differences were found in an online shopper comparison. The automated data came back very flat, which was related to the consumers not being in category context. The two-dimensional imagery that we used was often viewed on small devices, often their mobile device, and we couldn't probe deeper based on their behaviour. Now, the greatest concern here is that with timing so tight these days, there's rarely time to reflect on the findings, particularly in FMCG, where there's always a new project waiting to go. And when there is time to reflect, there's rarely any budget left to rerun so that we can dig deeper. So the choice for brands is getting more and more difficult. The cost for what seem like similar services can vary massively, and quite often the benefits of the more expensive service are not highlighted. So in this example, the cost of transcribing and interpretation from the same provider can range from as little as £1 per minute of video when run through an automated platform, up to £25 per minute of video for a human researcher to do it. So in this scenario, you have to ask, who would choose the human option? So I just wanted to demonstrate the strength of human insight collection. This table shows the findings from a very quick piece of research that we did. One cell managed fully autonomously, the other by human researchers face-to-face. And you'll see that as we go through, when we're just looking for the basic data, things went pretty similar. And the results were coming back the same. It didn't really change until we get to the more emotional levels associated with what kids want and what mums think their kids want. For instance, when we ask who decides what to buy, in many instances, the kids say mum, and the mums say the kids. The human interviewers wanted to understand more about this conflict and probed to understand what was driving it. The human findings showed that when kids ask for what they want, mum can try to persuade them to buy something similar, perhaps on promotion. The kids don't want to upset mum's feelings or look ungrateful, and more often than not, they accept whatever mum decides to buy. This insight could completely rewrite a marketing comm strategy in order to get inside of that situation, yet was completely lost with the automated service. So how do brands protect the undiscovered insights of the future? Well, it's about spreading the risk. It is vital to our industry that brands value our services and skills. So the transition needs to be safe, transparent, and forward-thinking to embrace the technology to meet our clients' needs. Brands can test their methodologies with 3 approaches before they approve fully automated services. So there are certain types of projects that require a fully human approach, often in areas where brands are experiencing frequent flat data. The human approach can get closer to the emotion to dig deeper and differentiate. There are also projects that can rely on automation to deliver a large portion of the work and then rely on human interaction to pick up the deeper understanding. And finally, by having subsamples in each cell of human-led research, brands can tell if the automated system is capturing everything, a safety net, if you like, before making the move to fully automated. The second and third options will be fundamental in assisting automated platforms to deliver more by recognizing what they are not pulling from the research and improving the tech to compensate, improving the value on both sides of the automation line. There are automation leaders speaking about the mix of skills, and this is really good. We need to hear more of those values when people are promoting automated services. So the reality is, discovering insights isn't easy and requires care, as the consequences to not delivering to brands will devalue our agencies, our researchers, and our whole industry. Here's where I can see potential issues, some of which may be very true already. So from the agency perspective, agencies that are offering great value could be losing work based on cost. Agencies may then start to take shortcuts to compete with automation, which is a potential disaster. Our researchers could potentially be devalued, and new researchers need to know that consumers are real people and not just data. This is key to the development of researchers. They must meet consumers, because without connecting to consumers, researchers could ultimately become robots. And from our industry perspective, the industry reputation depends on delighting our clients by setting the right expectations. Automation companies have a responsibility to limit their claims to reality by drawing a clear line through what they can and cannot achieve. Devaluing human ability and our skills as researchers is dangerous, Only a human researcher can untangle complex knots and turn it into a compelling story. I once watched a presentation where a presenter was asked, do we need data analysts anymore? And the answer was probably, in the long term, no, which I simply do not agree with. So to sum up, I just wanted to reiterate that automation is definitely the future and is making light work of some of the more monotonous jobs in the market research industry. We just have to remember that research is a very human science full of feeling and emotions. Whether the data is big or small, we must have some human interpretation to rationalize the findings and tell the most impactful story we can with what we have learned, driving value into our clients. If you haven't spent thousands of hours working with or watching consumers, you cannot fully understand them, differentiate their behavior, or attempt to predict what they need. And my final point is that as an industry, we need to develop better partnerships between automated and human skills so that we can offer collaborated services to brands that will deliver more impact using fewer resource and in less time. Thank you.